What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Ding Ding Podcast, where we cover everything with a ding ding. I'm your host, Joe, aka MMA Youngboy, aka Potty Next Door. Here I am with my co-host, Lodo. Looks like Latifi moves like Demetrius Johnson again. What's up, Lodo? How you feeling?
What's up, brother? I'm feeling a little crazy today. Had my 2 coffees after last night's events. It was just a lot to take in, but I woke up feeling ready, and let's go. Fights Wednesday, baby.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, we're doing this podcast today because we have another card coming up Wednesday. As some of you may not know, the UFC sold to Disney a couple of years ago, and basically now they're required to put on like 40 to 45 cards a year. So basically that gives them 7 weeks where they don't put on cards every year. So usually the beginning of the year, they'll put in extra cards to like fill in the time so they could take weeks off in the summer and holidays and stuff, since or times where people aren't gonna watch the UFC as much. So yeah, we got another card Wednesday, and then we got Conor McGregor Saturday. So we're doing a special 2-pod week this week. So I'm pumped. How was your weekend, Lodo?
My weekend was good, man. It was good until last night's fights. If you heard episode 1, Calvin Kattar was my pick. My man got torched.
Yeah, so basically, if you're a betting man and you listen to us, you lost a bunch of money last night, and we're sorry about that.
Whatever we say, just pick the opposite until I tell you otherwise, alright?
We're keeping tallies for this year, and so far I'm up 1 on Lolo because I took Max and he took Calvin. All the other fights we took the same, and they all lost, so...
All got KO'd.
Yeah, actually, pretty much all of them got KO'd. If you watch the card, it was crazy because it was like a two hour event because everyone was getting knocked out and finished the first round. So yeah, let's get into these fights from last week and go over them. So Pulahil Soriano, sorry for doubting you, my dude. You're a monster.
Holy fucking Christ, man.
I was so wrong. My buddy is back in town from Hawaii, so of course in New Jersey you can bet on fights. So he hits me up asking me for my picks, and I said, "Listen to my podcast, dude. We make we make all the picks from last we make all the picks for the fights on there. Listen to the last 20 minutes if you want my picks." So he hits me up 20 minutes later, and he said, "Pulahil is gonna throw bombs, bro." And I said, "I don't know, dude. I was looking into the other kid. He looks like a beast. He has all these. He knocked out Alex Pereira. You know,
He had all these fucking accolades.
All these accolades from wherever he was from, and the kid looked like shit, man. I mean, he played this evasive, like dodgy defensive game with his hands down, where he tried to bait you with his kickboxing and make you swing, dipping his head back. It looked very Anderson Silva-esque, but he's not Anderson Silva, so it didn't work at all. It was working at first in the first round because he was looping his punches, but I think definitely after the first round, his coach told him, you know, don't throw looping punches. This guy's evading you. Keep him straight up the middle, and you have enough power to knock him out. And I think guys, you probably could attest to this, Lilo, that have a lot of power, they kind of get addicted to just wanting to knock people out.
Throw the overhand.
So you saw him probably, you know, he's coming over the top, throwing big sweeping hooks, and when you run that backing up game, you could kind of time that.
Yeah.
But then came out in the second round, kept it tight, and they're like, dude, you can knock him out probably, like, just keep it up the middle, you're still strong enough, don't get enamored with the power. And he started landing up the middle, he couldn't evade it, and then eventually got the knockout, and it was super impressive. I that was one of my favorite fights of the day. Yeah, maybe Lolo. He was picking up our boy possibly for that fight, so he might have missed it, so I guess this is basically on me. But yeah, it was crazy. Pulahil looks like a fucking god.
Yeah, he looked huge
He's
when
jacked.
I saw. I watched a bunch of videos on him. He was just putting guys to sleep.
Yeah,
undefeated.
on the videos we were watching.
The other kid was undefeated too. I'm surprised he slept him though.
Yeah, that game just doesn't work unless you're Anderson Silva in your prime.
Yeah.
Even we saw Anderson Silva towards the end of his career. When he was playing that game, Chris Weidman caught him.
Yeah.
Even
Izzy.
Michael Bisping caught him when he's trying to play that game. So if you're not a tip-top athlete and sharp into the point, that game, I don't like that game at all.
I used to play that a lot.
Any type of boxing or fighting where you're on your heels, I'm not confident in that. Like, you're just baiting that the guy is gonna miss. I think you should be putting on
just a counter puncher.
Yeah.
Throwing everything opposite.
You should definitely stay grounded as a fighter, I think, because as you saw what happened, the guy really wasn't able to do anything and just playing this bob and weave game that wasn't working at all. So, yeah. Pulijano, that was I saw a stat that night that was the first time two undefeated fighters met since 2018 or something. So, Punahil moves to 8-0 with another knockout on his belt.
What, in that division? Because Paulo Costa and Izzy were both.
Yeah, other than Izzy. Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. They didn't mention Izzy. So yeah, that's huge because it was on national television, like we said, ABC, and to put on a knockout like that and move to 8-0 in a competitive middleweight division is huge. So
yeah, real big.
Now we got to make another apology. If you're ready, Lolo.
D. Chirico, man.
Jaqueen Buckley got slept into outer space.
With a big head kick. You know what? I went into this fight, I'm like, all right, yo, Joaquin Buckley's going to smoke him, hit him hard, kick him.
Yeah, we said it was they were throwing Chirico to the
I
dogs.
didn't realize how big D. Chirico was.
Me either.
He had like a fucking 6 inches on him in every category. Pause. But,
yeah, pause.
But it was just fucking... He threw the head kick early in the first round.
Almost clipped him, yeah.
He blocked it, though, and then he forgot about it. Threw it again, man. I love when they get knocked out, too, and they throw their hands up to the ref like, dude, I was alright.
Why was he so low to the ground, too? Like,
yeah.
He wasn't even shooting a takedown.
He, cut his body size in half, and he's a fucking already only, 5'8".
Yeah, that was really not good for Jaqueen Buckley because now he's been knocked out by D. Chirico and Kevin Holland. He had the highlight knockout, which now you could easily say is a fluke because he hasn't put on really good showing since. Yeah. He had a good fight right after the spinning kick, but now you've been knocked out twice in your last 4 fights.
Especially by D. Chirico, he lost his last 3.
Yeah, especially by D. Chirico.
And you're coming in hot with momentum.
Yeah, and he was coming off like a year. He had won 2 fights in the last 3 years. So, I mean, what are you gonna do? This kid's coming from a football field and he's knocking out Jaqueen Buckley. So I don't know about you, but I lost a lot of confidence in that kid this week.
Yeah, me too, man. I might not pick him in his next fight.
Yeah, for sure. So then we got another apology.
Fucking Jing-a-lang.
Jing-a-lang, man. Jing-a-lang looked good, dude. He was way bigger than Santiago.
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
He was towering over him, and right when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna look like idiots. This is about to be our 3rd loss."
I didn't expect him to get slept like he did, man. He beat up Perry, Neil Magny, everybody, and this fucking guy just fucking went to sleep.
Yeah. So if you didn't see it, Lee Jing-a-lang, coming off a L. Went to fight Santiago, coming off a couple-year layoff, and we had a lot of confidence in him because he's on a 7-fight win streak. He beat Neil Magny and Gunnar Nelson and Mike Perry all recently, and he was coming in all hot, mad about the UFC rankings, thinking that he deserved to be higher ranked, but got kind of handled by Jing-a-lang.
Yeah, very. I mean, he was landing some shots. But Jing-a-lang, you saw the power was taking a toll. He didn't want to get hit. 2-year layoff. First fight as a fucking guy who's just throwing haymakers. Yeah, and
Jing-a-lang, they were saying, I didn't know he was a big counterpuncher.
Yeah, neither did I.
So they were
his last fight I saw him get just fucking crushed. So.
Yeah, and every time Santiago missed, Jing-a-lang caught him with a check hook or some type of counterpunch. So that was super impressive. Congratulations, Lee Jing-a-lang, on your win.
Won't count you out, bud.
We won't count you out. If you bet on Lee Jing-a-lang, he was plus 240 just to win in any facet. So, I mean, who the hell would have knew that? So, then we get into Carlos Condit and what's our boy's name? Matt Brown. So I don't know. I liked the fight. It was kind of a war. A lot of grappling.
Yeah.
We saw sweeps. We saw submission attempts.
That was wild.
And old school guys. I mean, how often do you see Kimura attempts in a UFC fight?
Yeah. You saw Carlos actually perform. He looked good.
Yeah, Carlos Condit looked good, and
that leg sweep.
He wasn't. Matt Brown was retired, right?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. So Carlos Condit.
But I could tell you he probably is 98% gonna retire.
I think Carlos Condit's ready. He's on a 2-fight win streak. He was saying he wants to. He
looked
believes he
very
can make
good.
another title run.
I wouldn't go that far, but I think he's good.
Yeah, so Carlos Condit was able to win by decision. He really
Unanimous decision, yeah.
he bloodied the shit out of Matt Brown. Basically took him to had that crazy takedown over his leg when he threw like the kick behind him and threw him over his leg.
Yeah, that shit was sick. They had a lot of transitions on the ground. They were fucking rolling hard.
Yeah, if you're an old school grappler, jiu-jitsu guy, you would have loved that fight. There was a lot of crazy transitions, sweeps, takedowns, everything you'd want. Old school submission attempts. They were attempting, Kimuras. They were going into X guard and shit. I loved it personally. Right before the fight, I put a good amount of money on it to be a Carlos Condit decision, and that's just what happened. So, great fight. I knew like when I saw them going out there, I was like, all right, these old guys, they don't have the power to really finish each other. I don't think either of them really have the grappling to finish each other. Matt Brown, he's at the tail end of his career. You saw how like he wasn't even really escaping. Like when Carlos Condit would go for a submission, you kind of hold on the submission for a minute. So I knew a lot of time was going to get burnt off the clock. And yeah, he kind of just put on a great show. And congrats to Carlos Condit. So then we went into our main event.
Oh, I just want to come out and give you all a public apology, especially to Max Holloway. I was high on Calvin. Big time, man. But that motherfucker, man! He's the fucking go for a reason. Most punches in a fight to land, I think it was. He got banged up too, but his pressure, his everything, dude. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I would never, ever bet against Max Holloway as long as I live. I promise.
Ever again.
Ever again.
So yeah, we were big on Calvin Kattar, but like we were worried about in the last podcast, we were worried that it was too much too soon, and it turned out that was 100% true. UFC is a tough place to live and make a living because it's not like boxing where you have promotions that'll just like tailor your fights, give you 30 fights at around your level to build your confidence. UFC, if you get trending on social media or your name starts to get hot, they're gonna throw you right to the wolves and give you no breaks, and you gotta show up. So being a guy like Calvin Kattar, where you only have 4 professional fights coming into the UFC, and he had a great run on his first couple of UFC fights, but to fight a guy like Max Holloway that's been in the game for years, he fought the who's who. He's been training forever, and that's just a hard thing to overcome.
Yeah, Dana White even said it. He said you made him look like the number 6 fighter in the UFC. It wasn't it was a good fight. They got a fight of the night.
Yeah, congratulations to Calvin Kattar for surviving that. I mean, I thought multiple times that it was going to end, but that guy just would not go down. He's like a brick wall.
Tough kid, showed a lot of heart, man. That's what I love. That's like how I base off my favorite fighters,
Yeah, so we still love Calvin Kattar. He'll be back for sure. I mean, if anything, you get a lot better fighting a guy like Max, because then I feel like we all get to watch these guys, but you never really know how good they are until you're probably on the other side of them and you're actually witnessing and trying to dissect their game, and you just can't figure it out in 25 minutes.
Ortega, for instance, he had a great comeback fight against Zombie, and he got trashed by Max. You didn't see really any of his boxing. Comes back, fights the Zombie, and it fucking looks like he's been boxing his whole life.
Yeah, because the 4 rounds glove game is a different game. It's not like boxing where you got to really be choosy with your punches because you have these big heavy gloves on and you got to throw above the body the whole time. So like a guy like Max has kind of figured out that if he just stays in great shape, he could throw a fury of 8 punches, and he's a guy that always keeps the pressure on. That's exactly what Lolo said on the last podcast. He was worried that Max just keeps that constant pressure, and that's exactly what happened. And Calvin Kattar was always on his heels, never really got the chance to step into his punches.
And that was the thing too. Calvin was throwing the 1-2, 1-2. You can't throw the 1-2. Max Holloway's throwing 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 5, 10, 11, 12. It's just something you can't stop, man.
Yeah, he was trading 8 for 1 pretty much the whole fight, and it was pretty crazy because we get to realize like now everyone's gonna go back and watch Max Volkanovski and realize that Max won that fight. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he had those 2 knockdowns at the end of the round. Those were fucking huge.
Like Dan Hardy was looking pretty stupid because he's like, oh my god, this looks like an amazing Max Holloway, the best we ever seen him. Like he looked that good his last fight against Volkanovski and fought the best fighter in the division. Like I'm pretty sure if he looks the same against a new coming fighter, he's gonna beat him up. So.
I wonder if Volkanovski Ortega still happens now.
I think it definitely happens, but I don't, because like I think Volkanovski can maybe get out of there without getting too beat up. If anything, he gets submitted and they'll be able to fight within the next like 2-3 months after that. So we could see that Holloway, Volkanovski, or Ortega before the summer, I think.
Well, Volkanovski Ortega's what, March 28th,
Yeah.
27th?
If they've April, May, and then they fall maybe end of June, early July, like that July, they always make the July 4th card huge.
Yeah, July 6th usually lands on Fight Week, International Fight Week.
Yeah, International Fight Week. That'd be a great headliner, I think. But I don't think Max, after seeing that fight, would want the smoke or I don't think Ortega would want to see the smoke with Max at all.
He's fucking pissed right now.
Yeah. Volkanovski, I think he's going to have problems with that. Because Korean Zombie is definitely not even close to the level of Volkanovski, I feel like.
Oh, no way. I mean, he fights good, he fights hard, but he keeps his head on the line. He doesn't move a lot, so he gets caught.
Yeah, that was exactly
Like, how do you get caught by the boy that hit him with the shoulder?
The up elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ortega does the same thing and drops you.
Yeah.
He said after he got hit with that, he didn't know what the fuck he was.
Yeah, and I don't see him doing that to Volkanovski. I think if he tries to spin around, he'll get his legs kicked out from under him.
Yeah, Volkanovski was like 235, man. It's a fucking grown man.
Yeah, but maybe if Ortega loses, then you have Max Volkanovski 3, and then you have Calvin Kattar and Ortega.
That'd be a nice fight right there.
Which would be a great fight.
More space.
If I think definitely Calvin has a slight advantage in boxing and Ortega has a big advantage on the ground, but they'd obviously both work on the other a lot in the camp if they knew that was a fight, and that would probably be a crazy fight. But let's get into some current events. So I had this on before the fight, and they were talking about it during the fight, and it made me worried that Max didn't spar at all in the camp getting ready for that fight. Didn't do one sparring match.
And he looked amazing.
Yeah, and he beat the shit out of Calvin Kattar, and his punches looked perfect and crisp. So I don't know. How do you feel about a lot of guys not sparring anymore before getting ready for fights?
What?
How do you feel about guys not sparring anymore, getting ready for fights?
That's fucking wild, man. I think sparring is key. It builds you, it like gets you warm, you know, for its live action. You just sitting in the ground hitting a bag, it doesn't give you the live results like a fight. So when you get in there, you're like, damn, you know.
Yeah, I definitely.
This guy's throwing kicks. The bag's not throwing kicks at you.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely don't think you should do that unless you're one of the best fighters in the world, because it gets you definitely gets you better at fighting. Actually fighting, like that's the only way to truly get better. You could see guys that could even just go to the gym and hit the shit out of pads, but they can't fight.
Yeah.
So
I literally missed what you said because I was just reading that Matt Brown is pissed off about all the 30-27s yesterday. He said I fucked him up 100% in the first round. He got the second, and I ended up on top.
We all thought he won the first round.
Yeah, he got all 30-27s. He said fucking judges.
Yeah, he didn't even shake Carlos Condit's hand. He just walked out of the ring.
Left the ring.
That was messed up.
I would too. I'd be fucking pissed off.
But yeah, zero sparring, I don't know. I think you don't do that unless you're one of the best fighters in the world. Obviously, Max has been in wars. He doesn't need any more brain damage.
Yeah.
And he knows how to fight, obviously. All he has to do is make sure he's in shape and his punches are crisp, and obviously he could beat anybody. And I think it's huge if you could, because imagine how much, you probably got to take the next day off after a hard sparring day, at least from, like...
Yeah, I mean, you could just sit in the ice bath or...
So you could train probably way harder if you do no sparring throughout, like, the week. So, the other topic I got, officially, weed is no longer going to be tested for at all in the UFC.
Fuck yeah.
Finally.
And Nate's on schedule to get a fight, so it works out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a really stupid thing. I mean, I think maybe it does give guys a slight advantage, but maybe that's just because they feel a little more comfortable under the influence of marijuana. But I don't see the problem. It's not like steroids where you're getting like jacked or EPO where you're getting in better shape. Like it's just giving you a little different mindset. Like I'm sure if you took Adderall before a fight, like no one would say anything.
Well, that's what
if you had it like prescribed.
Off topic, but Wes Welker, when he was on the Broncos, took Adderall before a game and he failed the drug test because that was performance enhancement.
Oh wow!
So even that is they call it.
It's just crazy that you
could
could drink the night before a fight, but you can't smoke weed.
Exactly.
So if it's legal and it's basically considered the same thing, in basically every state they hold fights in, it's legal now because New York City just is about to pass it. New Jersey passed it. Las Vegas, California. So Abu Dhabi, I'm sure they just let the guys do whatever they want. So yeah, I mean. Definitely, I'd be super upset if I was Kevin Gastelum because he just finished a year suspension for smoking weed too close to a fight. So basically, the rule before now was because everybody was like, "Oh, I thought you already could smoke weed in the UFC." Yeah, you could, but if you went over a certain THC level in your system, that would make you pop hot for marijuana. So like, if you smoked like a day or two, or maybe even fight week, you would fail for weed.
Yeah. You see all the guys smoke right after their fights, like, because they're good afterwards.
Yeah, I definitely think that's messed up, especially if you're a guy that's like a daily smoker, and then you have to like throw off your whole like routine the week before a fight. I could definitely see that like messing up a guy's mental if he can't sleep right or something.
Yeah.
And it's definitely better than like drinking or taking sleeping pills or some shit.
Well, fucking the week of Masvidal and Nate was in his pre-fight like.
Yeah, I think they
the crowd,
always smoke CBD joints though. Oh. That's a lot of thing. Like Mike Perry when he went up to the face-off smoking a joint, that was a CBD joint. So a lot of these guys just put on that facade, but yeah, like I don't see the problem with it at all. Like Israel Adesanya or John Jones, like these are arguably some of the pound for pound best fighters. They smoke weed every single day, and who cares if that's what helps him like not feel joint pain from doing jiu-jitsu or like head pain. Yeah. And they're obviously it's not slowing them down at all. They're still in great shape and performing at a high level, so why not? So as you said, Nate has a fight coming up soon, but they said it's a lot of us were hoping that maybe they would do like a catch weight fight at 165 or something, or Tony Ferguson would bump up, but we were hoping for Tony Ferguson, but Dana White said that the Nate fight will not be a Tony Ferguson fight. So who do you think could be some opponents that they might face him up with at 170?
I saw RDA was tweeted that he won't kick his legs and that he'll fight him. I thought that was pretty funny. But maybe even the winner of fucking Conor Poirier would be nice for him.
Conor Poirier.
If Conor loses.
Well, I think probably after Saturday, I think the Khabib is gonna fight the winner of that fight.
I don't know, man. I feel like Khabib is gonna be like, "Oh, I wasn't impressed" or whatever, and then they should just give the title fight to Charles Oliveira.
I mean, in a perfect world, that's what I would want. I mean, I would love to see Conor and Khabib too, but I don't need to see it. I mean, I'm a guy that doesn't get hung up on the past. I'm down for the future. I'm down to see Charles Oliveira come into his own and take the reign. And he's a guy that, because a lot of these guys, they get into the UFC like 5-0 or so, and if you're not ready, you get 3 losses in a row. They give you a guy that you're not ready for. He knocks you out in a bad way, and they cut you, and then you're done from the UFC. Then you gotta hope that you could grind in a smaller division and come back up when you're in your 30s, and then it's basically too late. So UFC is never really known for like grooming guys through the UFC, but Charles Oliveira is a guy that came to the UFC super young, and he kind of grew up in the UFC, and we saw him since the time he was 20 fighting, and now he's ready to. Now we saw him against Tony Ferguson just manhandle him. Now we know basically. I think there's no way Tony would ever had a chance against Khabib.
I agree.
After what we saw with Gaethje and Charles Oliveira, and what Khabib did to
he's just been
Gaethje.
abandoning what he's great at. You know, he's just been trying to get into these fucking brawls instead of trying to throw a choke in, take somebody down, roll around, do what you do instead of fucking. You never try to fucking go and knock somebody out. You know, you're trying something new, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, and you never really see him like get any real like takedowns. It's always like maybe he gets taken down and works the guard, like, so it's hard for him to get into that game, like. And I feel like with Khabib's pressure, he wouldn't have been able to handle it. So I'm kind of happy we never got to see that fight. Hopefully Tony gets a couple like legacy fights that he could kind of ride off into the sunset with, and we could appreciate him for what he was. What else do I got here for current events? Your boy James Vick got signed by the ex-MMA. He's gonna fight in the Florida card coming up.
Yeah, the 30th, baby. Let's go to sleep.
So now he's the main event, pretty much, biggest name on the on that card. So are you pumped to watch your boy?
Yeah, I'm down, man. That's my boy. That's my shooter right there. If you need me to
James
fucking
Vick.
throw a jab at somebody, I will. But I'll take
We'll
a nap.
catch you.
Yeah. I saw another thing announced yesterday, man.
Yeah, let's hear your events. Lolo actually prepared this week, so we're gonna hear more from Lolo.
Stipe and Francis is happening.
All right, when's that scheduled for?
That's March 27th, baby. I mean,
Word.
the first fight, Stipe just wrestled him, beat his ass. But
Francis has
since then-
gotten way better, Daddy.
Oh, man.
But we saw that he abandoned basically all of his training in his last fight and just charged the guy. And if
he's
you do that
just
against
going
Stipe,
crazy.
you're gonna get beat up.
I see that. I can see that happening. But, like, he doesn't care. Because he knocked out, what's the boy? The other
Derek
heavyweight.
Lewis?
No, the other guy.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I forget his name too, but he fucking just charged him. He got punched. He didn't care. He was just throwing punches while he was getting punched. You can't do that in the heavyweight division. You get slept, man. You get beat up bad. I'm pumped for that shit though.
What else you got, baby?
It's really what I was excited for.
So there's Lolo with his one current event. Thank you, Lolo.
That's what I do.
So one other thing I want to just talk about before we move on is I saw this thing going viral on Twitter. That was pretty stupid, but I just want to bring it up because MMA Twitter is fun, and it's fun to like look at what these people think sometimes. They were saying that they think Bruce Lee would beat Mike Tyson in a street fight.
No fucking way, dude. I don't care who you are. That would not happen.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying like Bruce Lee would use like jiu-jitsu on him or something, but I don't know. I think Mike Tyson wouldn't even have to punch him. He could just grab him and break him in half. You're talking about one of the best fighters in history against a movie star. So that was just something that made me laugh, and I thought it was really stupid. So I just want
That's mad funny.
I just want to see how you felt about it. So
I don't know, man, but I'd just stay in the pocket with him. Fuck it.
with who?
With
Bruce Lee?
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be really sad to see because Bruce Lee would probably die. A lot of people don't know that
Rosenstruck is the heavyweight, by the way.
Rosenstruck was the guy that Francis knocked out that just charged at him. But yeah, a lot of people think that Bruce Lee was like this crazy martial artist, but he only formally trained martial arts for 5 years. So like, imagine a guy at your jiu-jitsu gym that's been training for 5 years. He probably just got his purple belt. So that's about the level that Bruce Lee has in martial arts. So basically, he would get his ass beat by anyone that's a black belt in anything. So I guess I don't know. I don't see how he would have any chance against Mike Tyson. Our boy JVal just stepped in. What's up, JVal?
How we doing, Ding Ding Podcast?
How'd you like the fights yesterday?
Well, I didn't like your guys' picks, I'll tell you that.
How's your parlay going for football, by the way? JVal only cares about football, so he's not really here hot about UFC, but he's got this crazy parlay going for touchdowns.
We need Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara, everything hit last night?
Alvin Kamara. Yes, Stephon Diggs got in. We need Alvin Kamara.
You said that.
And,
Let's go.
who's the other game?
The Alvin Kamara.
What about the other one?
The Browns and the Chiefs.
You need Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, and
and
Patty Mahomes.
That's
Patty
recent.
Mahomes, and then in another one, Tyreek Hill. But to win the good one, we need Alvin Kamara, safe bet. Patrick Mahomes, Papa. You get that 1,000.
Yeah, so we're going to Sizzler tonight if JVal hits.
Hitting Sizzler, baby.
But yeah, so now we got to get into Wednesday's card.
Chiesa Magni, baby.
Yeah, headline is Chiesa versus Neil Magny. Only 3 fights on the main card, but basically all good fights. We got Ike Villanueva, 16-11 versus Vinicius Moreira. He's 9-4. And I don't know. I think I got Moreira in this fight. He's a young up-and-comer. He lost to Paul Craig. He got knocked out by Alonzo Mayfield. He's 0-3 in the UFC. But
you got him anyway.
The reason I got him is because he recently got popped by USADA, which is the drug testing agency. So any guy where USADA's knocking on your door, you're probably taking shit. So I'm taking the guy on drugs.
Make no mistake, cuz he's taking the guy on drugs, when in doubt.
Yeah, so Ike Villanueva, he's been in MMA for 15 years. He took a recent fight off a 6-day layoff. He lost, but he looked decent. He landed a couple shots. He just coming back to 205. He was at heavyweight for a long time. He probably just went to heavyweight because on short notice it's hard. He's a big guy, so it's probably hard to cut the weight. His last notable fight was Randy Couture. He took a W over him like probably 7 years ago, but other than that, this guy hasn't been that active. So 5 of his 11 losses, he got stopped. So this guy probably has some serious brain damage. And it seems like the loser of this fight will probably get cut.
See you never.
Because the one guy is 15 years in.
Ike, right?
Yeah, never really did shit. Kind of has a couple good wins, but always had problems with discipline. And this other guy's getting popped by USADA, and he's 0-3. I mean, I think it's... So you're going to watch 2 guys fight for their careers, so that always makes it more interesting. So I'm pumped for that fight. That'll be 205. You got the odds on that or nah?
No.
God damn it. Somebody give me the odds. Well, they're getting the odds on that for you guys. Who you got in that fight, by the way? You're taking the USADA boy?
Nah, I'm taking more...
Ike?
Yeah. He's just a big boy. You saw the way he was throwing punches.
Yeah, and coming down from heavyweight, I mean, that means he got in
think
shape. He's
straight.
used to fighting big guys. But I'm taking the young guy just because he's on drugs, and he's 0-3. Let's hear the line.
Ike is the favorite at -143. Other guy is +115.
So there you go. That is my upset pick, baby. We got Villanueva +133. I mean, Moreira +143.
Yeah, the 3 fights on the card. Malderfi's fighting on the main card as well. She got beat up her last fight, but she beat up Macy Barber.
She's from the Ultimate Fighter, right?
Yeah, when she hurt her knee, Macy Barber like tore her ACL.
Yeah.
That's the girl that beat her ass. She's fucking like a little nerd.
Wow.
But I fucking love her.
And then we got Warley Alves. He's 14-4. He won the Ultimate Fighter in 2014. He's the first guy that ever beat Colby Covington in a fight. So
Rear naked.
no, guillotine.
Oh, guillotine. Yeah.
Guillotine choked Colby Covington. So
I went to go slam him and shit. But
yeah, it was in like a minute too. So anybody that could do that, basically, could hold up against anybody in the 170 division. And he went the distance with Kamaru Usman. Looked pretty good against him. Went for that famous guillotine choke though, and Kamaru slipped out of it and was able to finish the fight. I mean, not finish the fight, but basically won that 3rd round and won by decision.
He's the underdog +180, but he's fighting that kid Lazarus.
Warley's +180?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm taking 2 dogs because I'm taking Warley in this fight. If you go the distance with the champ and you beat a guy that was the champ with submissions, I think you definitely have a good chance. And he's won the Ultimate Fighter in 2014, so he's 7 years into the game. He's a BJJ wizard. He has 6 submissions.
Yeah.
And that guillotine is nasty. I mean,
I'm taking the boy Mornair Lazarus.
Yeah, Moreira Alves. Dana White's super excited about this guy.
His kickboxing is fucking phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, we were watching some of his highlights before, and we saw him spinning back, hit a guy to sleep. We saw him up. We saw him do a couple head kicks, guy to sleep, throwing crazy knees. This guy's the first ever Israeli fighter out of Iraq, so he's trying to put on for his Dubai. I think the home field advantage. A lot of these guys. Where's the other guy? He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this guy's traveling from Brazil to Abu Dhabi, and this guy's lives there. So you don't have to really adjust. So that's a big advantage. And I don't know. It might be
Yeah.
too much too soon, just like
Yeah.
we saw with Max Holloway. This is this guy's first UFC fight, and he's fighting a guy that has fought the who's who of this division, so I don't know. Lesnius is a good pick. I can't believe he's the favorite in this fight,
Minus
but
220. I mean, he's fighting out of Team Nogueira in Dubai, so it's right there. Like, no time change. You're still fresh. You're not changing your routine. These guys all leave a week early and got to get used to the timing because it's a fucking 10-hour difference.
yeah, just when you're fighting in these Middle East promotions, I don't know who you could really be fighting to get ready for a guy, a UFC veteran. But he's 10-1. The only guy he ever lost to was a guy that popped for steroids, and they're trying to get that overturned to a no contest. So this guy would still be undefeated, but I don't know. We got fooled by Calvin Kattar last week, thinking that he had a chance against Max Holloway, but it was obviously too much too soon. This is this kid's first UFC fight, so I
We'll
don't
see how
know.
that goes.
He's a super athletic kid. You can never sleep on him. He could easily kick him in the
Yeah.
head or do some kind of spin kick on him, but I don't know. I'm staying confident with the guy. I think he submits him.
Oof.
Plus, I'm taking the underdog. So I'm parlaying both those motherfuckers, and I'm making some money this weekend.
Well, so far I got the two favorites, I guess. But
Lola's going with the favorites.
we also got Tyson Nam fighting on the main card, too.
Really?
That little fucking monster.
So they added a couple fights to the main card. We just saw live. We're recording this the day after the fight, so there's still coming out. We also got Ricky Simone, right?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like a lower prelim guy. He got knocked out by Uriah Faber. That kind of stunted his career a little
Yeah,
bit.
he won his last fight, though.
But he won his last fight, and he has a chance to come back here. And then our main event, Michael Chiesa, Neil Magny. Who you got?
I'm taking Magny. I just seen Michael Chiesa. He looks good. He's been looking way better than he did. But when he fights guys who got hands, who could throw punches good and nice sharp, he just struggles. He blows his gas tank. You saw with Pettis, he did that. Even with Kevin Lee. No, that was a while ago, but still. But I'm taking Neil Magny. He's coming off a good win off of Robbie Lawler.
Yeah. He's on a 3-win streak.
Yeah.
He beat Robbie Lawler, Anthony Martin, and Jingalang all by his decision in
Yeah.
his last 3 fights.
He's
but
been working. He's been
before
very
then, he
active.
got KO'd by Ponzinibbio,
Yeah, who got slept yesterday.
who got slept yesterday.
But then you look at Chiesa. He has his last 5 fights. He lost Kevin Lee, Pettis, beat Carlos Condit, Diego Sanchez, Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah, Michael Chiesa only fights top of the ranked fighters, and he fights elite grapplers. So, I think what's his name? Neil Magny got
Diego
arm
Sanchez and
triangled.
Carlos Condit are fucking on their way out, man.
Yeah, but RDS arm
RDA.
triangled Neil Magny, and
Yeah,
so it shows that he got exposed by his
but Neil
grappling.
Magny caught him on his rise to the belt. You know, when he was hot, they just fought. He's like,
Yeah,
I
true.
feel like that always takes a.
But
takes a
yeah,
big
Michael
jump
Chiesa
into it.
submitted RDS and beat him in his last fight,
RDA.
right? RDA, and I think definitely has the advantage on the ground, but Michael Chiesa's striking definitely struggles. I don't know if he can handle it. And Neil Magny beat the shit out of Robbie Lawler on
Yeah.
the standing, and Robbie Lawler can do anything. So if Michael Chiesa can't get one to the ground, he's gonna get his ass beat. But I'll take Chiesa if he can get it to the ground. We'll find out quick if Neil Magny can stay away from him.
Well, what else we got?
That's it, baby. I mean, both of them are on 3-fight win streaks, so that's a pick 'em. I'm gonna probably go with Neil Magny as well because I don't know. I don't think Michael Chiesa is gonna get a hold of him. We'll see how he's in shape for 170, but
Yeah, we'll see. I don't think anything of it, man. It would have been nice to be seeing Kazman and Leon. I'll tell you that.
yeah.
I would have called out of work for that. It's at 12 o'clock. Don't forget, the fight's at 12
Noon on Wednesday.
noon on Wednesday.
Yeah, I would have called out for Kazman Leon.
Lola would have called out for just about anything.
Give me a fucking excuse,
Yeah.
because I usually don't need one. Yeah, I'm not coming in today. Oh, why? No, I don't wanna.
Yeah, but it's pretty crazy how all these guys are getting away with like USADA shit just because they're like on the up and coming, like that kid.
The prelims start at 9 a.m. and the main card's at 12.
Yeah, so I guess I'm
luck,
watching
Abu
those
Dhabi.
when I get home from work.
I guess I'll be having my coffee. with
Or
the
just trying to
fights.
stream them in the corner. Trying to stream it in the bathroom.
Well, John Potson,
Well,
that was
Latifi.
another
Episode 2 in the wrap.
Episode dos in the books. Episode dos años, you understand?
We'll see you again on Thursday for the Wednesday review and our review for Conor McGregor fight.
Come on, baby.
He's back. They say he's going to fight 3 times this year. They said that last year and he fought once, so I'm not that optimistic. But yeah, I'm pumped. You got the ding ding ready?
Ding ding's always ready, bro. That's what we do.
Alright, thanks guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
We're out.